What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank the Cuban Flash Sanchez, Eddie Hearn, and Anthony A.J. Joshua. A war of words between Eddie Hearn and Frank Sanchez has broke out over social media, and here it is. Frank comes at Eddie Hearn. He says that Anthony Joshua, he looks good versus low-level opponents. When he fights elite guys, he loses. And Eddie Hearn claps back with @CubanFlash 2016. What would you know about elite opponents? And Frank said there's also a massive 2024 incoming, and Cuban Flash responded with Joshua fought Usyk and lost, fought an old Klitschko and almost lost, an oversized replacement, which is Andy Ruiz, and lost the first time. Okay, what elite guys has he beat? Zero. At Cuban Flash, at Eddie Hearn, he also said, no elite fighter will fight me. My managers have offered to fight every single top 5 guy. None want to fight, and all say I'm dangerous. Facts. Those are the words of Cuban Flash Sanchez and Eddie Hearn. And let me counterpunch. When you talk about elite fighters, first of all, you have to identify elite fighters as who they are at the time, okay? Elite fighters are that's kind of an overrated title at this point, because you have fighters of this era that they're so guilty of not fighting the best to be either labeled as elite or, they don't take the choices or the chances to be great. And when they did, they either lost once, like Pulev, i.e., or i.e. Povetkin, okay? And both of these guys like that, which Joshua beat, come up short. Even Andy Ruiz, okay? So you have Andy Ruiz, one loss to Parker. You have Alexander Povetkin, one loss to Klitschko. You have Pulev, okay? Kubrat Pulev, one lost also to Klitschko. Then you got guys like Charles Martin, which was undefeated. You had Joe Parker, which was undefeated. He never fought Wilder and he never fought Fury. But those guys have only fought each other until recently when Parker just beat Deontay Wilder. So if anything, when people say, oh, well, he hasn't fought any elite guys, I think the title is overrated because we don't know who is what, because there's nobody that sticks out amongst everybody else. It's just hearsay or what people believe or who people believe is the best. See, Frank Sanchez, when you talk about elite guys, Efe Ajagba wasn't elite, but he was dangerous. Okay, he was up and coming just like Frank was up and coming. But since then, he's fought guys either lower or mid opposition. In retrospect, they haven't done anything or they don't have a name, okay? You at least have to have a name, but the name, what does that really mean? A name of reputation, okay? Reputation by potential, not by showing that they're the best. See, even Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury's good, but how good is Tyson really? We don't know, just by beating Deontay Wilder and Dillian White, or whoever, that doesn't prove that he's the best. But people look at him as one of the best heavyweights just for beating Wilder. Well, Parker now has beat Wilder. So is he also the best? You know what I mean? He's also beat Dillian White, and he did it in dynamic fashion. But people will argue, well, Dillian White was knocked out a few times before even getting to Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? And Dillian White also beat Joseph Parker. So we have a lot of fighters that haven't fought each other, and they haven't really been managed right and good enough for the heavyweight division to be aired out or to be sorted out as who's the best. So what am I saying? I'm saying when Cuban Sanchez, when Frank says, hey, well, who is Joshua beat elite? Well, there's not a lot of elite fighters. Really, there's not a lot of elite fighters out there, because there's nobody that has stuck out to be elite fighters. We thought we were going to get at least Wilder and Joshua to see who's better between the two. But we haven't seen that either. We haven't seen Joshua and Fury. We're lucky to get Usyk Fury. Okay, Usyk has fought Joshua twice. Wilder has fought Tyson Fury 3 times, which in retrospect, these guys should be fighting each other to see how all these guys lined up. But I understand, Frank, he wants these fights. And I think him saying that to Eddie Hearn, he's just frustrated, by saying, oh, well, Anthony Joshua hasn't fought anybody elite. However, Anthony Joshua, his resume quadruples yours in competition. Now, I know that Frank's talented, but I think the whole idea of saying that one of the top fighters by resume, and marquee value hasn't fought or beat elite fighters, I think that's his way of being frustrated, because that's false. Because he's fought every other person that could be anybody of today besides Wilder and Fury. If you think about it, if you think about everyone else, or the people that we named, he's fought them. Dillian White, Kubrat Pulev, Alexander Povetkin. We have Dillian White. We have so many different people. Andy Ruiz. So he's fought these guys. Okay, and these were the top guys that were held back because of Klitschko. Klitschko was the guy that held all these guys back. There was the cap. People couldn't excel because the top of the mountaintop, the peak, was Klitschko. You had to get rid of Klitschko because Klitschko and his brother were beating all these guys the last era. So the last era had a lot of these guys only being beat once by the same person, i.e. Povetkin, i.e. Kubrat Pulev, and a few others. So he did that. So you have to beat someone. To beat Klitschko is a great honor. And I think people take that lightly because they don't know what it's like to share the ring with Vladimir or Vitaly. So Frank doesn't know anything about that. Wilder doesn't know anything about that. Andy doesn't know anything about that. The only people that really do is Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. That's why they stuck out amongst the others. But if this is the way Frank's going about doing it, I wish him well. That's a friend of mine, so I wish him well on his endeavors. And hopefully that will piss off Eddie Hearn enough to get him a fight with Anthony Joshua. And I would love to see that fight. But Frank does need better competition, or he needs better management. Because if he's called out all 5 fighters, or all the top 5, and all of them said no, well, I don't think that's just Eddie Hearn's problem. That may be a Frank Sanchez management problem. But Eddie saying, well, what the hell does he know about that? I think that insults Eddie, and Eddie feels kind of a certain type of way when he hears that Anthony Joshua hasn't ever beat elite fighters. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of the war of words between Frank Sanchez and Eddie Hearn concerning Anthony Joshua. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!